Before exploring each equation individually, we need to understand the mathematical roadmap connecting them. Our journey begins with Einstein's relativistic energy-momentum relation, which connects a particle's total energy, rest mass, and momentum. We then introduce the quantum substitutions associated with Planck and de Broglie, transforming energy and momentum into temporal and spatial differential operators. This produces a relativistic quantum framework from which two important physical regimes emerge. For massive spin-1/2 matter, the relativistic structure leads us toward the Dirac equation and, at velocities far below the speed of light, toward the familiar Schrödinger equation. For massless spin-1 fields, particularly electromagnetic radiation, the alternative branch leads through the Riemann-Silberstein complex vector toward Maxwell's curl equations. Over the following scenes, we will follow these mathematical branches step by step and examine how relativity, quantum mechanics, matter, and electromagnetic waves become deeply interconnected. Welcome to this advanced analysis of relativistic quantum mechanics. Our journey begins at the apex of classical relativity with Albert Einstein's landmark energy-momentum relation. This equation states that total energy, capital E, equals the square root of the quantity rest mass, m, times the speed of light, c, squared, all squared, plus the quantity speed of light, c, times momentum, p, squared. This expression represents the absolute geometric invariant of a localized particle in four-dimensional Minkowski spacetime. It fundamentally binds a particle's intrinsic mass energy to its external dynamic state of motion. To transition from classical mechanics into the quantum domain, we must replace these continuous kinematic variables with linear differential operators. This foundational equation serves as our absolute starting point from which all fundamental wave equations of the universe inevitably flow. We now execute the first critical quantum transformation by invoking Max Planck's quantum hypothesis, formalized here as the temporal energy operator correspondence. We map the continuous scalar energy variable, capital E, directly to the operator I times h bar times the partial derivative with respect to time, t. Here, I represents the imaginary unit, which injects the essential phase dynamics required for quantum interference, while h bar represents the reduced Planck constant, the fundamental scale of the quantum world. The partial derivative with respect to time isolates how the quantum state evolves across a continuous temporal field. By making this substitution, we implicitly declare that energy is no longer a static property belonging to a classical point particle, but rather the manifestation of a field's local, dynamic temporal rate of change. Simultaneously, we must transform the spatial component of our system by applying Lewis-de Broglie's wave-particle duality relation. The classical three-dimensional momentum vector, p vector, transforms directly into the spatial operator, -I, times h bar, times the nabla operator. The nabla operator represents the spatial gradient vector, which acts across all three spatial dimensions simultaneously. The negative sign attached to the imaginary unit is a strict mathematical requirement, ensuring that our quantum momentum operator remains a self-adjoint, Hermitian operator with real observable eigenvalues. This substitution shifts our understanding of physical momentum. Momentum is no longer defined by a classical mass-velocity product, but is instead dictated by the local spatial frequency, or the spatial gradient, of a continuous quantum wave field extending through space. By directly substituting our temporal and spatial operators back into Einstein's relativistic framework, we construct this magnificent, unified master quantum wave equation. It reads I times h bar times the partial derivative with respect to time, t, acting on the state wave function, capital Psi, equals the square root of the quantity, rest mass, m, times the speed of light, c, squared, all squared, plus the speed of light, c, squared, times the quantity, -I, times h bar, times the nabla operator, squared, all acting on the wave function, capital Psi. This represents a highly non-local, square root differential operator equation. Evaluating a spatial gradient nested directly underneath a radical presents severe mathematical complications. The quest to solve or linearize this radical equation forces a deep structural split in theoretical physics, depending entirely on the physical characteristics of the particle involved. This brings us to the great bifurcation point of fundamental physics, where the universe divides into matter and gauge forces based on three constraints: rest mass, m, spin, s, and velocity, v. On the left branch, we isolate conditions where rest mass, m, is not equal to 0, spin, s, equals 1/2, and velocity, v, approaches the speed of light, c. This is the domain of relativistic matter, including electrons, quarks, and neutrinos. On the right branch, we isolate conditions where rest mass, m, equals 0, spin, s, equals 1, and velocity, v, is precisely equal to the speed of light, c. This is the domain of the photon and fundamental gauge fields. The physical constants of mass and spin dictate exactly how we linearize our master square root equation. Following the massive matter branch, we encounter Paul Dirac's masterwork. To linearize the energy radical for spin 1/2 particles, Dirac introduced alpha and beta matrices. The resulting Dirac equation states I times h bar times the partial derivative with respect to time, t, acting on a 4-component spinor, capital Psi 4, equals the speed of light, c, times rest mass, m, times the beta matrix, acting on capital Psi 4, minus I, times h bar, times the speed of light, c, times the quantity, alpha vector, nabla operator, acting on capital Psi 4. By using 4x4 matrices instead of scalar constants, Dirac successfully linearized the spatial and temporal derivatives. This brilliant mathematical maneuver simultaneously predicted the existence of antimatter and revealed that particle spin is an intrinsic consequence of marrying quantum mechanics with special relativity. Let us scrutinize the anatomical structure of the Dirac wave function, explicitly written here as capital Psi 4. Because the alpha and beta coefficients are 4x4 matrices, the wave function itself cannot be a simple scalar value. It must be structured as a 4-component mathematical object called a spinor. The top 2 complex components of this spinor represent the spin-up and spin-down states of the positive energy particle, such as a standard electron. The bottom 2 complex components represent the spin-up and spin-down states of the negative energy solutions, which correspond directly to the electron's antiparticle, the positron. The Dirac equation therefore establishes that matter is fundamentally interconnected with antimatter, requiring a multi-component framework to fully preserve relativistic invariance and local causality during high-energy quantum interactions. What happens when relativistic effects subside? We investigate this by enforcing the non-relativistic limit, where velocity, v, is much less than the universal speed of light, c. Mathematically, the particle's kinetic energy becomes vastly smaller than its intrinsic rest mass energy. Under these constraints, the large rest mass energy term oscillates rapidly, allowing the lower 2 components of our 4-spinor to mathematically decouple from the upper 2 components. The antimatter solutions effectively recede from the accessible energetic landscape. This dimensional reduction condenses our 4-component Dirac spinor down into a simplified 2-component spinor, capital Psi 2, which captures standard Pauli spin states. This transition bridges the high-energy relativistic domain with the classic low-energy quantum mechanics we observe in everyday atomic systems. This reduction delivers us directly to the legendary time-dependent Schrödinger equation. The expression reads I times h bar times the partial derivative with respect to time, t, acting on the 2-component wave function, capital Psi 2, equals negative h bar squared, divided by 2 times the rest mass, m, times the nabla squared operator, acting on capital Psi 2. The nabla squared term is the Laplacian operator, calculating the second spatial derivative across our 3 dimensions. This equation dictates that the time evolution of a quantum state is directly proportional to its spatial curvature, which represents the non-relativistic kinetic energy. By tracing this line, we prove that the Schrödinger equation is not an isolated postulate, but rather the low-velocity, low-energy manifestation of the more fundamental Dirac field equation. Let us return to our primary bifurcation point and explore the alternative path. the massless branch of gauge bosons. Here, we apply the exact physical constraints of a photon: rest mass, m, equals 0, spin, s, equals 1, and velocity, v, equals the absolute speed of light, c. Crucially, we must also enforce the structural constraint that the divergence of the wave field, written as nabla.psi vector, must equal 0. Because the rest mass term vanishes, the first term inside our master square root radical disappears entirely. This leaves behind a pure spatial gradient vector. The divergence 0 constraint acts as a gauge condition, stripping away unphysical longitudinal polarization states. This leaves only the two physical, transverse polarization states that characterize real electromagnetic radiation traveling through a vacuum. To express the quantum wave equation for these massless spin-1 photons, we utilize the elegant Riemann-Silberstein formulation. We define a complex three-component wave function, psi vector, which equals the electric field vector, E, plus the imaginary unit, I, times the magnetic field vector, B. Using this vector, the master radical equation collapses beautifully into a single, compact relation, I divided by the speed of light, c, times the partial derivative with respect to time, t, acting on psi vector, equals the nabla operator, cross, psi vector. The cross product denotes the mathematical curl operator. This stunning equation frames electrodynamics in the exact same mathematical language as quantum mechanics, proving that the curl of this complex field dictates its temporal evolution, serving as the true quantum wave equation for light. In our final step, we separate the complex Riemann-Silberstein equation back into its constituent real and imaginary components. This separation yields the classic time-dependent Maxwell equations. The first equation states 1 divided by the speed of light, c, times the partial derivative of the magnetic field, B vector, with respect to time, t, equals negative nabla, cross, electric field, E vector. The second equation states 1 divided by the speed of light, c, times the partial derivative of the electric field, E vector, with respect to time, t, equals nabla, cross, magnetic field, B vector. These are the exact curl equations governing classical electrodynamics. We have successfully completed the map, proving that Maxwell's equations are the exact manifestation of a massless, spin-1 quantum wave equation derived directly from Einstein's relativity.